we might have a bomber, transfer bomber. Yeah, they're talking rumors about two players going out on loan out and are happy. We're gonna speak about that through the day on a live. Catch that about 1:30 this afternoon. But the one that's in question today is two names that we've been linked with. But look, his reputation, I don't know what to kind of make of it. It's hot and cold with some. I'm a believer. Are you a believer? That's the real question. But smash the likes if you're a believer, because I am. And there's also another name in there. And this is huge. To even put this out there, right, and sound as confident as it is, it's going to get bookmarked. And we're going to see if this one really goes through. And what I'm talking about is this right here. So as you can see, Indy Kyler, whether you rate him or not, we're going to go off of it. Because when he's talking about Baleba, this is where, you know, I suppose a lot of his, with the Man United fan base at least, where a lot of his credibility has come from, right? Him having certain news surrounding that. And I'm not saying that that's not going to be the case. And we're looking towards January. And there's a lot of rumors about Baleba and his form and if United should even go for him. Who knows? It's a little bit of it's a weird one to talk about so early, since it's what? It's only October and you want to be talking about potentially what, the summer? But anyways, as it says exclusive, Bruno Fernandes sale agreed, Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson incoming. That's big, by the way, because a lot of us were talking about Adam Wharton, and that's Adam Wharton's a player that I really want, because he's more of a controller than these two are more box-to-box midfielders, right? He says, we understand that Bruno Fernandes will be sold to Saudi for 100 million in the summer. The deal is already agreed between all parties according to sources, and it seems like Bruno is just waiting to sort out personal terms. The funds from Bruno's transfer are expected to be used to bring in Baleba and Anderson. Now, to break that down lightly, is Baleba going to be one? And if it is sorted, why can you not go get one of them in January? Especially if they're trying to push towards a great finish. Obviously, what's really needed in the summer, and a really needed revamp in that whole midfield space. The other one, Elliot Anderson, was interesting. Forest are not doing well, but he's one that really shines and stands out. And this is only his second season there. And if Forest continue to have a bad season, it might be difficult to hold on to these players, right? But if they don't get any sort of European football and don't win anything, a lot of players might want to move. Elliot Anderson's trying to break into the England side as well. And I think he's just got his first international call-up, if I'm correct, under Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he's a player that he transforms a lot of our physicality and athleticism in that side, alongside some, of course, technical ability that we lack so much. You know, whether it's Ruben Amorim or not, them two definitely fit the bill that we definitely need. You can even add in a Kobe Mainu there, and you've got a good trio. But I do feel like it lacks a lot of progression in terms of just being a passer going further forward, unless Man United have looked at the likes of Sekou Kone's, the likes of course, the new one, I don't know what his name is, the Colombian guy. And we've also got one in our academy called Jim Thwaites, who all can do that dictating role in the six. So there's a lot to be positive on when it does come to the future of that role in a six. And the question is, how much is Baleba and how much is Elliot Anderson going to actually cost if rumors are to be true? Now, the way Baleba's playing at this moment in time, you don't look at that thinking, that's £100 million player. But there will be a lot of noise surrounding his name, and there's going to be a lot of battles for his signature come this summer. Should United have this Bruno Fernandes wrapped up, go into Saudi Arabia, then surely you go and get his signature in January, where you do pay the premiums. Right now, Baleba's not looking more than a £50 million player. And I do wonder if Manchester United have the balls to go back in for Brighton and say, look, your players are want away. We can see it. His performances are showing it. How much are you willing to let him go for? I'm going to have to go look back at previous prices before, and I'm going to have to liken it back to Caicedo, because Caicedo they were asking for about 80 million in that very January, 85 million. And Caicedo wasn't even performing badly. He did make a transfer request and he did want to leave. But the question is was Arsenal ever going to put up the money? And then before you know it, Liverpool and Chelsea were battling for his signature because they changed targets. Arsenal got Declan Rice. Now, if you go get that one done, of course, in January, then you don't actually need to worry about another midfielder in the summer, and you don't have to be chasing a player all summer, which is exactly what us Man United fans don't want to see. We want to see it nice and early, of course. You know, you got the World Cup coming up. You know, Elliot Anderson's price is probably going to go even further up, because if he gets selected, he might get some starts. He might be pivotal if he gets selected by Thomas Tuchel for that squad. And of course, I think deservedly he probably does, but I feel like Declan Rice might have his number in that area. Maybe we'll see about that one. But on the Baleba front, I think is it guesswork? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I mean, it's a time where United fans, you know, we look towards our squad, and there's just that massive hole in the middle of the park, what Casemiro currently occupies. There's obviously talks about Garte maybe wanting a move away in January, and it looks like it might be his final year at Man United, especially with the performances he's been putting in recently. And then, you know, bar that, you know, when you're going to hear the names likes of Elliot Anderson, that could also be the replacement. I feel like United are lacking a lot of British players, but I feel like we're lacking a lot of our own academy. And you do have to wonder, with two midfielders coming in, what is the future plans for the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, who again doesn't want to leave the club, but there's been again rumours that he wants a loan potentially in January, which has come out by Sully Talks, who's writes for the Centre Devils and has got quite good links when it comes to the club. Because you have to wonder, what is the plan for him, right? So again, could that mean Kobbie goes out and Baleba comes in January? Could that be the case, so Kobbie can get some minutes? I don't want to be in a place where, you know, if Amram is to be the long term, you know, one of our owners, the one that's going to suffer. You know, we need to look at this as a team, but we can't run away from our identity. But you know what? Hearing Elliot Anderson's name is, I wouldn't say it's crazy surprising, but to say that it's done, right? I just don't feel like why I can't get into this too much is because we need to know and behave in a way how Mr. Marinakis, as you know, Gibbs White would call him 3, 4, 5 different times in the space of 10 seconds. How would he act in this situation? How would you be if you was him? And I don't feel like that's going to be a deal that's going to be done in a click of a fingers, right? And, you know, Forest got a lot of talent, and there's a lot of questions surrounding their squad, so it's easy to put his name with a big club. But what he does with our side, including on top of a Baleba, is of course is a lot of ball carrying in there, and there's a lot of progression in terms of passing forward, but just not a lot of variety in those passes. Two players that can definitely drop deep and collect the ball at the very minimum, right? But that's if there is to be only two in the middle of the park. There's a lot of, you know, what we would call PNP. And of course with that sort of technique as well, which again I just covered a minute ago. But I just don't feel like Nottingham Forest's owner or Edu or whoever runs the joint is the one to make a deal very early at this point in what we're talking October. It's only the second international break, and what players want to move already. Come on, surely if you're a player and you feel like you can definitely get into a side like Elliot Anderson into England's midfield, you might want to see other options that are out there. There's a lot of clubs surrounding his name at this moment of time. And if Forest are to continue in this bad form and trajectory, I don't feel like Man United is going to be a given. I feel like Forest are going to want some sort of bidding battle if that is the case. And trust me, he's going to cost a pretty penny, right? If they wanted around 80 million for Gibbs White, then you can expect they want about 75, 70, 80 million for the likes of Elliot Anderson. And you know what? United will probably end up paying that, because that's how desperate our midfield is at. And you know what? You can use that as a tactic in your negotiations for why you're going to force that club to pay the extra. We've seen that United can do transfers, right? But we've also seen United drag out transfers and just end up paying the money, even in recent times, aka Mbumo. I don't know how much Forest are great negotiators, but they're definitely tough ones, that's for sure. But anyways, how do you guys feel about this news? Let me know in the comments, because it'll be interesting to see if you lot rate this Indy Kyler or you don't. Because I did. I'm not gonna lie, I was following him and he did get quite a few things right. If we're gonna be very, very honest. And I don't feel like it's the same person as before. It's a group of journalists. It's actually a group. I've got a feeling it's all these other journalists and they want to put out these aggregated news for clicks. Maybe. It could be the case. But anyway, smash the likes. Let me know what your thoughts are as well. Give it a rating out of 10. Because you know what? The Baleba news, what do I give that out of 10? I'll probably give it a solid 8. The Elliot Anderson one, though, I don't feel there's a lot on the line. So at the moment, I'm going to give it a 4. In a bit.